sure we don't get mic feedback like the other time. Let's see who's on here. Is there anyone on here? Holy moly. Doesn't seem like it. All right. I guess I'll have to let the delay catch up. All right. Let me go here. See what's going on with the liveness. Oh my. I guess I should let the music keep playing. That's all right. That's all right, because I'll do this as a video that you can watch later. Dun, 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 dun. All right, anyway, I'm going to get into it, and, you know, go watch later. Later, you can watch. Welcome. Thank you for joining me on this post-Eagles concert live stream. You know, I must be getting old because I could never imagine going to a concert, drinking nothing but half a bottle of water and feeling hungover the morning before. I guess I'm getting old. But to be fair, I was up at 6, didn't get home till probably 12:30, and didn't get to bed till like 2. So it was a long day. It was 20 hours straight. So, you know, is what it is. So, like I said, I'm doing this stream now because I don't have any other time, and I'll let some of these images pass. Some of you may have seen it. So I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by the Eagles. It was an amazing show. I was told they had an orchestra, and they did. They had an orchestra and a choir, but I'll get to that in a second. They played the, basically Hotel California album first, then they took a break. But at the start of the concert, they had this creepy conductor come on stage. He looked like a conductor. He looked like something from Phantasm. And he put the Hotel California album on a turntable. That's what he was doing. It was really cool. It set the mood and the vibe. Really, really cool. And then they kicked it off with Hotel California was the actual first song that they played. I don't know if that's the order that was, you know, the album. Was that the first song on the album? But they performed it flawlessly. I mean, you know, it's you know, I'm not saying that this is the case, but I wonder if the sound of these older bands is somewhat processed. Yeah, I bet John would know this as a sound engineer. John, if and when you watch this, you'd have to tell me, is it possible that the sound is getting not auto-tuned, but somehow processed and cleaned up, or maybe they just still have it, you know? I mean, the no filming was really disappointing. I mean, honestly, I probably forgot 90% of the songs. I mean, I know all the Eagles songs, especially like obviously their greatest hits. But, you know, if you ask me today, you know, less than 24 hours later, what songs did they play, the order of the songs, I could tell you like 3 or 4 that I remember off the top of my head. And I don't get it. I don't know why. The show was absolutely superb. And I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, you know, obviously I see a lot of concert. I don't really know too much about, you know, what's his name, Gil, but Gil was awesome. I guess he could technically, you could say he took the place of Glenn Frey, but they also had Glenn Frey's son, which I believe his name was Deacon Frey. So between Gill and Fry Jr., I mean, they more than made up for Glenn Fry. I mean, obviously, I would have preferred to see Glenn Fry if he was still alive. And I guess I'm trying to think. Like, obviously, Henley to me is like the band, and then Joe Walsh was freaking phenomenal. I would have to say Joe Walsh, in my opinion, kind of almost stole the show. Of course, he did his stuff from the what is his hit from the James Gang? You know where it goes, I know where you're going. That was pretty cool. And he did Life's Been Good to Me So Far. I don't even know if that's the name of him, but that song. But he just really was shredding. Not like blistering speed, just really good. Accurate technique wise. Sound was crisp. It was phenomenal. I mean, and the response from the audience to Joe Walsh was like unbelievable. They really, really liked him, and he's a funny guy too. And when this woman came out, that was after the intermission. And it was good that they took an intermission because everyone, all the old timers had to go like to a bathroom break, and especially the women, they take like so long. I was on a line for the men's room, and by the time I got out, I saw the line had moved like 3 women in the time it took for me to move like 20 men. So they take a long time in there. But, whatever. The camera work, too, was superb. That camera that I just showed on that video, they had a lot of panning of the audience. I think we were 5th row. So we actually were in the footage several times. I missed the clearest footage of us, myself and my wife. But let me lower this. But it was still fun. Let me see if anyone else is. Anyway, and I'd say honestly, this is probably like the best concert I've been to since Rush in 2014. Just because the production value is so high. I will say this. The orchestra and the choir, unless they've done this previously on their tours, it gave me the impression of the Led Zeppelin Kennedy Center Honors, where they did Stairway to Heaven, where Hart performed it with the backing band, and then they had the choir at the end. So I don't know if they said, "Hey, people like that, and so let's do it, let's crib it," or if this was just an organic thing. I mean, it was beautifully executed musically. I really enjoyed it, but I thought it was a little, how could you say it? Hey, what's up, Hair Juicer? Thank you for joining. And anyway, so that was the Eagles concert. At the end, though, Don Henley, and this happened with Mike Love too of the Beach Boys. I'm thinking they're a little based because he said something like their final song was "Peaceful, Easy Feeling," and he alluded to something like, well, like the U.S. is kind of like screwed up right now, or everything that's happening. So you don't know what he's referring to. Is he referring to all the insane, all the woke crap? That's my opinion of it. So that's how they ended with "Peaceful, Easy Feeling." I said, this is just, it's too coincidental that 2 people now he didn't say, it's the war in Ukraine. He didn't, he just said, well, let's hope that it gets better. So obviously if he was happy with, the current administration, I don't think he would have made that remark. Where Mike Love actually was, he was a Trump supporter when he came out, like with the Beach Boys. I think, in fact, Trump used some of the Beach Boys songs during his rallies. But I found that interesting because usually these musicians, no, I have not seen Lettuce, but I'll have to look it up. So I'm trying to think of anything else that happened other than like this one woman in front of me. I don't know why I get all these like whack jobs. Like, there's 10,000 people there, whatever, or 18, 15,000, however big that arena is. And she has her hand up the whole time. She's like this, right? Now, I mean, she wasn't like swaying or moving or bopping. It was just, like I was like, can I call on you? I'm like the teacher. Yeah, yo, you have a question? It was like right in front of my face half the time. It was so freaking annoying. And then sometimes she'd put her arm around her husband. I was like, oh, thank God. And I'd say it loud enough that like I'm hoping that she heard it. And her husband was a big dude too, but I didn't care. I'm like, for the love of God, put your damn arm down. I mean, it was just sitting there like, hello, hello. Oh my God. I was waiting for the freaking band to call on her. Yes, you have a question? What the hell do you want? Put your freaking hand down. So, and then one guy, so we're in the fifth row. There was one guy, I think, in the first or second row. I'm trying to think of what song it was, but he just like, he totally splurged out, spazzed out. I mean, look, I get it. People are into the song. My wife's like, he's into the song. I'm like, into the song. He's like, I was like ready to call the paramedics. He looked like he was having a seizure. I'm like, it's the freaking Eagles, man. It's not like, I don't know what the hell he was doing. This is why, like, some white dudes just shouldn't dance, I guess, I mean, I hate to say it, but it was funny, though. I mean, it's actually entertaining. And then the worst part, though, the worst, and I'll end it at this, as far as the concert goes. And thank you, Hair Juicer, for I do like funk, so, I'll have to look them up. But the worst part is they had these freaking goons looking for anyone that could have possibly recorded. So this is, I took like, I don't know, 100 pictures and I just cobbled them together. I did take one video clip. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, it might have been Joe Walsh's son. No. He was maybe back in the fast lane or something. Anyway, it's on this compilation. And you should have seen like these freaking dudes like came out. And, one guy's pointing at me. He has the freaking mask on. It's like, dude, is really the mask? You're in a freaking arena with almost 20,000 people. You got a freaking mask on. Like, I couldn't even believe it. And I knew they were pointing at me. And my wife was giving me that look like, because she's like, if you get thrown out, I'm staying here. I'm like, all right, whatever, So then I was mindful because, they must have saw me take like a 30-second clip. And I was like, damn, man, and they were all over the place, though. I mean, in every level. Some of them looked like they were undercover. I'm all, what the hell, man? It's a effing concert, like you're really that. And they sounded great. The theatrics were good. You're really that concerned somebody's gonna, put it on YouTube? And besides, like, the Eagles block everything. So if you were to put it on YouTube, they'd either copyright strike it or just ban it anyway. But so that was the only thing, because like, everyone was mindful. Then even when you were taking a picture, because they did obviously allow you to take pictures, in the back of your head, sometimes, it was dark. It was a night shot. Oh, and here I am over here. Right there. There's me and my wife and I. And right there, holding the camera. I had a really, here we are again, right there where the cursor is. I had like I said, a really nice shot of us head on, and I missed it, but, it's no big deal. So other than that, again, the concert was phenomenal. And I would recommend, if you like that kind of music, definitely go see it. We saw Don Felder, who, got kicked out of the Eagles, and he performs Eagles songs. It's a shame he doesn't join because he's still really good. But it's, nowhere near this level of polish, production. It's more smaller venues, which is nice. It's more intimate. But this is like, you feel like you're getting your money's worth. And even Don Henley made a comment, because the freaking tickets were like god awful expensive, especially the VIP tickets we got. He's like, we travel with 100 people. And I could believe it with all the equipment you saw. And, he's like, that's why tickets are so expensive. And I'm like, oh, dude, come on, give me a break. Yeah, and they did have the choir and the string section, the orchestra, and all the other crap. That was local, so I'm assuming they don't bring them places. I think that they probably, like, if they're going to be in certain cities, my guess is they would say, hey, look, we're going to be playing in your town, rehearse this shit, and you're going to be playing a couple of songs. But who the hell knows? I don't know because I think Emerson, Lake and Palmer tried to do that once, and they lost millions of dollars bringing an entire orchestra with them on the road. So I think it would be easier to just say, "Hey, look, if you're interested in participating, Florida, maybe they travel and you travel on your own." That's my guess, but who the hell knows? But that's his excuse why the tickets were like god awful expensive. But it was worth it. I'm glad I went. Would I do it again? Probably only if I had first row. That would be the only thing. And I don't know if with the preventing you from tape anything that I didn't like. Anyway, so that's it on the concert. How far into this am I? I'll let this play to the end because it's only got 2 minutes. So anyway, going on to toys for those that are into the toys. I talked to the publisher of this, Antique Toy World. And my long overdue, I'm going to start with a full-page ad in there. This is the only remaining viable magazine for collectors, I think. I can't even think of what's left besides Antique Toy World. So it's not just to advertise the collection for people that want to come down, but in all honesty, it's also as somebody that buys. You have like a lot of the auction companies here. They put their highlights, like, oh, I sold this for, so many thousands and yada, yada. Let me fold this over so you can see a little better. Like, for instance, like this car here, it's sold for $19,000. I'm like, yeah, I know, I know who bought it too. So, but for me, it's actually a better buying opportunity because like I'll advertise and say, hey, look, if you're selling something, maybe it'll give me the opportunity to kind of sometimes be able to buy it on my own. And here's the guy when I talk about Anthony Restorations. They've been in here forever. These are some of the boxes that they restore. Let me see if I got that dragon box here. Where is the dragon? So right here, that's Snappy the Dragon. Oh, wait. There it is. So it's just some of the work they've done for me. But, they got other things there. They just happen to like my boxes. So as soon as my web person, and she also does my ads, as soon as she cobbles together something, that'll be going on forthcoming. The other thing I wanted to mention is for people that like might decide, hey, I want to go see this collection. We're only 30 minutes from St. Augustine. So St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra are like attached at the hip. It's like salt and pepper. So I'm just going to scroll some of the things to do here because a lot of people do vacation here regardless. So if you happen to come here, this is just page 1. And the collection itself happens to be 5-10 minutes from the ocean and a bunch of golf courses here. So if you just like the ocean, and Jack's Beach is, right on the border also. So Jack's Beach is kind of like a younger crowd. It's a more partying type of crowd. But if you're older and you want things to do, or you're a family person, here's just some of the things. I won't read them all. But there's a ton of stuff in St. Augustine. They got also the big fort that the Spanish built. Hell, I don't know. It's the oldest city in the country, and they do a lot of tours. Let's see. At 16, I asked my mom for a King Crimson album. You know what? King Crimson's album was freaking awesome, and that's I think where Greg Lake, when they were, I think at their best, their early album was with Greg Lake, so who went on to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So, listen, compared to now, it's funny that if you were to like say get a rap album now and compare it to what parents were afraid of back then, like that some of that satanic imagery, and it's not even, I don't even think it was that satanic, but like occultish maybe, I don't know, from like Sabbath. It was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. They worried about the stupidest things. But anyway, going down here, here's just some of the things. I mean, it's unbelievable, the stuff that they have here. And this is 30 minutes away from where I have my collection. I'm actually going to figure out how to get my little thing on here too, so it'll be like a point of interest and attraction. This Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, I think I have like one item that's worth more than the entire contents of this museum. So, whatever. Ponte Vedra Concert Hall right here, I'm actually a corporate sponsor now. So, and I go to a lot of concerts there. But that is a cool venue. They're actually redoing it, spending millions adding balconies. So that should be pretty interesting. Winery tours, a lot of trolley tours. So, it's funny. I posted like they have like battle reenactments downtown, well, in the historic area. And I did a short just for hey Patrick, what's up? In the low. So I did a short and I put it's the civil WAR, and freaking YouTube like flipped out. They're like, this it's like in the no. You can't say, even though it was a joke, it was a complete joke. Hold on a second. I'm giving you a whoa, how did that happen? Bing popped up. All right. Anyway, so they do these battle reenactments and oh wait, my message there. And so I made it a joke that it was a civil conflict, and the YouTube algorithms flipped out, and I think they like put me on the naughty list for like I think I'm still on there, like my views get reduced and subscribers start disappearing. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people, man? That's what happens when you have AI and algorithms. I'll try this again. Hold on. Anyway, so Pat, I went through the whole Eagles concert, and now I'm just talking. Went through Antique Toy World. I guess you could hear it. My streams seem to be more popular after they've streamed, and now we're talking about the stuff to do in St. Augustine. If anyone comes down to see this collection, I was saying this is just one page. There's almost like 100 things just on page one. A lot of like trolley tours. They have the ghost tour, which is cool at night. All the haunted places. There's a lot of death. They had like a slave market, so supposedly a lot of those places are haunted. They have this pirate ship over here that you can tour, like the Black Pearl. As I scroll, I'm looking at seeing if there's anything that I like. I went to this Ponce de Leon Fountain of Youth. It was all right. It was like a park, and it has some cool stuff. That's where I did a short, like the guy shoots the bow, he shoots the cannon. Some of it's cheesy, it's just really a park. And they sell like overpriced bottled water that's supposed to be the Fountain of Youth. What's up, Heifer K7? Greetings to you, my friend. So the old jail museum, this is what I need to do tours in my place here. Like I did a short. The girl that's speaking, she has the old time jail like prisoner outfit with the stripes, and she's doing the tour, and she's the one that was going ba 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 ba. And I did a short. It got like 2,500 views. This is where I always tell my wife we need a little bit of like sexiness to our presentations. Yeah, so I've thought about getting a young like drama student to do tours here and do videos. People that like to act, because that's what respond to. And then you get like the social media people that like want to do it on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not going to do that stuff, but it would actually behoove for exposure to do that kind of stuff. And anyway, the historic district, which you see here, like let me get it on it. It's got a really cool historic district. You could, let me go back. You could walk through. If you've ever been to St. Augustine, it's just a really, really cool town. This Leitner Museum is huge. But I'll tell you something. Yeah, I know, right? A robot girl. Like the ones from the movies from the 50s. YouTube is weird. It'll get down to you. Yeah, I agree. But, look, if you have cleavage, you're going to get millions of views. That's really what it boils down to. If I had a robot and nice cleavage showing, it's going to get millions of views. A pretty face, cleavage, that's all you need. Maybe being on the beach, I could have a bikini and a robot, although I'd be afraid of the salt air just chewing it up. Maybe I'll do a reproduction. There are clever ways to get millions of views. You know, I've discussed it with my wife. She's like, it's cheapening. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's cheapening. Whatever you say. I'm like, that's the way of the world. Let's see, what else do we have here? So the distillery, if you like beer, there's a ton of, I guess you call micro brews there. And by the way, the alligator farm is really entertaining. Here's the ghosts. The Ghosts and Gravestones tour is really cool. You do it at night. And supposedly these places are really haunted. The Colonial Quarter. I mean, it's really got a lot of history. Again, it's the oldest city in the United States. Now, this Brumos collection is considered Jacksonville, but close to where I am, Ponte Vedra, and it has just a ton of Porsches. If you like cars and Porsches, I heard this guy was affiliated with the Johnson and Johnson family. I can't verify that, but the collection, from what I hear, is spectacular. Let's see, anything else that I'm going to have to go to that Brumos collection. People have been telling me, if you like golf, they have the World Golf Hall of Fame. I like golf in the sense I haven't done it in 20 plus years, but I mean, if I like to walk, have a drink, walk, BS with some friends and whack the ball, I just never really got into it to the degree that some people are so serious about it, where they like keep the scores and they're really into like every stroke and flip out if they get in the sand or if they go out into the woods and they're like breaking clubs. I'm like, dude, you're hitting this tiny ball into a little hole and you're walking around like these manicured little hills. It's you're taking it way too serious. But, whatever, to each his own. But golfing is huge here. And a lot of spas here for the ladies. See what I'm telling you? Like, they want to put some attractive person to sell services like that. I actually never went to this aquarium. And again, we're only on page 1. And I never even heard of Father Miguel O'Reilly's House Museum. I have been to this basilica, which is pretty nice. And that's it. That's just page 1. I won't go into page 2. Now, and this stream's not going to go that long. So I have a little segment called The Mailbag. And I became good friends. Let me get a sip here. With some people just from collecting. And one of my closest friends now is Italian. Like the first time he communicated with me, he was talking about trading or he wanted to buy something I had. And I'm like, he's like, give me your bank information. I'll send you money. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I thought it was like a scam. I'm like, dude, what are you, like a Nigerian prince or something? But that's the only way he could pay. So I forgot what I had that he wanted. And maybe, we were talking about trading. So the long and the short of it is when I finally became friends with him. But let me just tell you, Patrick, yes, there are definitely tons of good fishing charters here, tons. Remember, we're oceanside, so they can catch a lot of stuff. And DG is a big hobby of mine. Okay. In the disc golf capital of the world. They also do, what's that other weird, that like, what do you call it? That like, almost like a frisbee golf. They do that there. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, look, it's fun. It's just, I find that it's very time consuming, but to each his own. I've thought about buying a boat, by the way, Patrick. It's just, I think I'd never use it. So anyway, I was saying this guy, he sends me like this letter, which is faded. See the old print? This is actually like printed, That's how, it's just faded. Where he wrote, you could actually see the ink still, from the marker. So he sends me pictures. Yeah, deep sea fishing is awesome. I've gone out deep sea fishing several times. I caught some nice amberjack, which were very, very tough to reel in, and you don't really eat them. I think I caught a swordfish once. I mean, some of those fish took me, I think, 45 minutes to reel in, and you get tired as hell doing it too. But you got to go with an experienced person that knows where the hell to go, and make sure your equipment's good. And make sure you have a plan for the fish too. Like this amberjack, people don't normally eat it, so we took it to like this poor neighborhood. This was like back in the '80s. We took it to a poor neighborhood. It was in the back of this old station wagon on ice, and we just went to this woman and said, "Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it." And she's like, "I'm going to feed my like 10 kids with this thing," because it was like 60 pounds or something. We're like, "Okay, there you go." So anyway, I get this letter from this guy. Back in, oh my God, when did he send this? It came airmail, you can see here. Maybe you can. From overseas. And in here, there's like a stack of pictures. A stack. See, we couldn't do digital photos back then, but check out some of this crap that this guy had. I say crap, but they're all lovely pieces. All right, so I'm looking at this like, whoa, this dude has like a major collection. I know there's some glare, so you have to bear with it. To my chagrin, I was like floored. I was like, holy cow, this guy's got the goods. Nice pictures, too. What's the date on this? Sometimes they have the date. And this is it says Euro photo in the back. Really, really cool stuff. Now, he had one of these rare Pinocchio Atomicos, and I think he had the missing part of the legs made. I may have ended up with this toy, quite honestly, because this sold recently at Morphy's auction for a boatload of money that I had to pay. But, I mean, there's not too many of those that survived. But, this is the kind of stuff I'd get in the mail. I mean, this is all his particular collection. However, I'd have people send me just voluntarily, unsolicited. They would just send me, hey, I got this stuff. I used to love getting these pictures, and I saved them. That's what I miss the old. Honestly, like I'd rather have these pictures in photo albums as opposed to digital stuff that I got to pay Apple for cloud storage. Because, even though I have a lot of storage on my phone, some more of that Pinocchio. I guess when he got the lower legs made. And there's two versions of this toy. I have both of them now. And the original box isn't... This toy's impossible to find. There's a date on here, so I don't know how they date it. But it could be 2006, maybe. Anyway, I won't bore you much longer, but just wanted to show you these. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Pat, you go to New Hampshire to fish? Disc golf. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I should have expanded this before. I'm not going to go back over them all now, but I still have more to go anyway. I'm almost done. So this is a gang of 4 here. Rocket gumball machine, which I have. This is a very rare Italian gumball machine, which I don't have. I'd like to get it. This Italian toy vendor I do have. This silver version of this rocket. Very, very tough to find, the silver one. This is a major expensive toy here. It's a better shot of it here, complete. Just a couple more, and I'll finish with the man. That's why I only did his letter. Usually I would show you a couple of letters, but I said in this case he's got too many pictures. There's another one here. That blue they call Sparky robot's exceptionally rare. A couple of space stations and stuff like that. 2 more to go. I know you guys are probably bored, but And then last but not least, very rare hook rope. So if you know these toys, you know that, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars there. So he sends me these pictures, and then I trust him. And I think he ended up wiring me money for a toy. And then I would buy some stuff off him. He'd buy it off me, and that's how collectors go. And then we became friends. He ended up coming and staying with me from Italy. First he came alone, and we'd go to like trade shows, like the Atlantic City Toy Show at the Atlantic City Convention Center. Then he ended up coming with his family just as a vacation, stay with me in New York for a couple of weeks. Then I went to Italy in 2008, and I just happened to stay with him for a couple of days with his family. So through the hobby, the point is, through this collecting hobby, I made one of the best friends that I have now. We're still in touch. And unfortunately, he ended up selling his collection, I think, because he's actually into high-end retail clothes. He's got a couple of stores, but they got crushed over there in 2008 because of the financial, whatever shenanigans happened in 2008 when the market kind of cratered. And I'm sure COVID put a hurting on him too. The way it goes. So that was that. So Patrick, what did you do in New Hampshire before I move on to the final segment here? Let me see here. Yeah, disc golf. And while you're thinking of that, so my final thing is, so I have a couple of prototype robot. Well, a prototype robot and a prototype space toy that I will unveil. I'm not going to turn them on because I don't have anywhere to show them to you doing this live. But I'll unveil them now, and then I'll make videos of them probably later today, and then I'll post them at some point. So the first one is this interesting robot here. It's a Horikawa later model. And it's really cool. I mean, there is some question, is this authentic or not? Now, it's hard to tell, but I would say if anyone knows anything different, you could let me know, because then I would go back to whoever sold it to me and say, buddy, you're going to give me all my money back for this. But here it is. This is, normally it's a common television robot. I've never seen it, with this chest apparatus. And the color that you see in each of those discs is a reflection of the shaft that comes in and out. And it's the color of the shaft. The disc itself is just chrome. So it gives it a really cool effect. It makes it look colorful, even though the inside of that disc is really just chrome. So I had seen a small video of this working, and I said, well, it seems legitimate because the television, if you know television robots, they have a scrolling mechanism. This kind of has to go in and out. It seems like it would have a different mechanism to make these prongs shoot in and out. So I have no idea. I mean, again, if anyone knows anything about it that feels like it's not legit, you let me know. But it works pretty cool, and hopefully it is. If not, like I said, I'll beat the guy senseless and get a refund. Before I go to the prototype space toy. All right, so you make dump trucks. Well, that's interesting, Hair Juicer, because my son, besides being a musician, he also assembles engines for caterpillars. So I don't know what kind of trucks you have, but if they're caterpillars, he might make the motor that goes into your dump truck, which is kind of interesting. That would be a really small world, huh? And anyway, the final piece here that I will unveil is this beautiful hand-painted space capsule. Now, this looks, on the camera here. In fact, let me go back, and I keep forgetting that you guys are looking at a small window here. All right, so I'll just show you this again. so you have a bigger angle of it, bigger view. Hello there. Please subscribe to the channel and thumb up the video. Thank you, thank you. So that's this. You can see it from the side. It looks pretty clean. I mean, if somebody did, if this was a you're at Deer, I could tell you that we have this humongous house, maybe, I don't know, 10 houses away from me, 10 houses south. Huge house on the water. From what I heard, it's a huge deer distributor. And they live in Georgia, though. But they got this palatial home. I mean, it's enormous. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful house. So that's interesting. I like deer. I used to have a deer lawn tractor. I actually won it in my old job, and it ran flawlessly for years and years and years. Like they say, nothing runs like a deer. So anyway, here's this hand-painted. So this is all hand-painted. And it works. Now the question is it, legit? Did somebody actually paint this? Again, if I were to find out that it wasn't legitimate, I would just ask the person to kindly refund me. But it looks sort of legit. Whoops. Let's see here. Let me do this a different way. This doesn't look like something, somebody would take the time. And now you gotta, look at all the lines inside those flaps. It does look to me to be indicative of the hand painting of a prototype, but you never know. You never know. I mean, could it have been somebody that just likes to hand paint? It's possible, but I'm hoping it's legit. But somebody sees the stream down the road, get it even a little closer. You can tell me your thoughts. The nose cone is a little new for me. That's the one thing that kind of bugs me about it. But, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for now. For now. If you ever see a deer dump truck, I made it. I hired and do. That's cool. I mean, I'm sure I've seen deer dump trucks. I mean, I actually like all the construction equipment that's made in the States. I'll tell you a funny, quick story because that's kind of like all I had for today. But when I was in college, I think my freshman or sophomore year, I was a pre-law political science major, and I was asked to do like some kind of report, and I did a report about when the U.S. Boycotted Russia for whatever reason. Seems like we've been, pissy with them now for forever, since the Cold War. And after World War II now, it's been going on, 70 years, 80 years. And anyway, so we boycotted, and they wouldn't allow us to send them, and I'm researching this stuff. We couldn't send them any of our construction equipment. So no Caterpillars, no John Deeres were sent to Russia sometime in the 80s. So what do you think happened, right? You think Russia couldn't get any construction equipment? They got a shit ton of Komatsu. Like, it put Komatsu on the map. Up until then, like, there was no Komatsu anywhere. And now all of a sudden you got Komatsu everywhere. And, nowadays, once in a while, you'll see on, like, American road projects, you'll see Komatsu, machinery. So that's the unintended consequences of these stupid, actions taken by these leaders, But I thought that was funny because, we throw our own companies under the bus and we accomplish absolutely nothing. just like we do now. We, can't, no oil, no this, no that. There's always like a workaround. So I just thought that was funny. Because I think if it wasn't for that boycott, I don't think Komatsu would have gotten off the ground and become as large as they are. And I'm sure other companies that have heavy industry, profited as well. But that's just my little thing, that I going back, decades now. So anyway, my friends, I think that's kind of all I wanted to cover. Whoa. Wah. That was weird. It was like the computer was going into sleep mode. That's pretty much it for what I wanted to cover today. Who has the factories in India? Is that Deere or Caterpillar or Komatsu? I don't even know. I'll wait for that because that's kind of interesting. But they moved everything overseas. Somehow, they've convinced a lot of stupid people that the planet's better to take 30 million jobs out of this country because they would ruin the world. So put them in countries that can pollute like crazy, like India and China, and we're better off letting them pollute the world instead and letting them build a middle class so they could threaten us economically, militarily, and everything else, and we can hollow out our middle class, Yeah, that sucks, And the thing is, no matter how cheap the manufacturing costs are overseas, and I always rail against this, what has gotten cheaper? What has gotten cheaper? If you go back in time when factories started moving overseas, if their costs went down, you've never seen the cost of any product that's gone to overseas manufacturing. You've never seen the cost of that product go down. I don't care what it is, irons, TVs. Well, technology that has improved, you could say that, but I don't think it's because they manufactured overseas, because they went down even when, like, say, Sony was making TVs in Japan and things like that. I mean, some technology gets cheaper, like cell phones, for instance. But by and large, it hasn't affected the consumer. It just affects the profitability. But that's, it's unfortunate because, where are you taking those jobs from? I would imagine the Rust Belt, right? But anyway, listen, it was good to meet some new participants today, like Hair Juicer 3000. Thanks again for joining the stream. I got to run, but I appreciate you guys being here. And Patrick, you too. Thanks for the comments. It's always appreciated. So with that, my friends, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And let me type a little... And I'll probably see you guys on Styx's stream. And, make sure you check out their other videos and share this because maybe we'll get some growth. And I have to do find a consistent time to do them as well. So thanks again, my friends. I'll talk to you later. See ya.